to this presentation, to today's presentation of this smart working series. And I really appreciated that you all made it today to join this call in very upsetting times where our thoughts might be rather with the people in Ukraine and the fact that war is closer to Europe than ever before in the past 80 years. But let's still try to focus on today's topic, and this is focusing mainly on new tools we can integrate in our online presentations and in our online conferences. So upfront the event, I just want to give you a little reminder of the upcoming events. On the 24th of March, we have another session about autonomous virtual learning and distance learning, and also flipped teaching. And on the 28th of April, there is a presentation about the ethics of smart working and how to manage a team in distance. So let's have a look of today's agenda. So first of all, I will give you some data about online conferences and show you the importance and the rise in the past years. Also maybe discuss some topics with you. And next I will do a little revision about 9 very important tips of online conferences. And I think that's then the perfect connection to jump into 2 very famous tools we can use to further leverage our online presentations, online conferences. So let's start with a little presentation about myself. So as maybe some of you already know, my name is Lucas. I am from Austria, and I already finished my bachelor degree. I studied in Vienna at the FH Wien, and currently undertaking my master degree at the Nova University in Portugal. So actually right now I'm supposed to be in South Africa on my exchange semester, but due to COVID, the first part has been taken online. So I am undertaking my lessons right now, still from Tirol, but the plan is to fly down to Cape Town within the next 3 weeks, but I haven't booked the flight yet. Furthermore, I was also able to get some professional experience. So I have worked in London in finance industry, and also for Mondi in Vienna, which is one of the largest packaging companies. And maybe some private details about myself. So as you can see in the picture on the right bottom of the slide, in my free time, especially in winter, I just love to go skiing, being outside and enjoying the nature. Okay. So also I already told the audience, but for those who joined newly, feel free to just write into the chat if you have any questions or any ideas or any input, or feel also free to raise your hand or just speak up during my presentation. So I really would appreciate if several voices are coming up. Okay. So now I talked already a lot about myself, but I also want to know where you are from, guys. So I implemented this little Menti, where you can just go to the link, which is staying above. Tom will also maybe post it into the chat, and then put in the code. And you're supposed to see a map of Europe there where you can select your current location. So let's hope that we get a broadly sparkled picture with many different locations in Europe, so we can all see where we are from, or where we are currently staying. So I see there are people from the UK, people from Italy, probably based near Rome, if I'm right. Of course, Tyrol. Very nice. Oh, us from the Baltic states. Wow, Romania. Wow, we have so many Italian people in this chat. I am impressed. So I will just give you a little bit more time for those who haven't participated. Maybe also put in your location. Okay. Oh, that's really nice. I'm impressed. So we are really like spread all over Europe, but the major community seems to be based in Italy.
Maybe they need the most support to this topic. Nobody knows. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
Okay. I think everybody has voted. So I think it's time for the first content slide, because the new votes we get are all in Italy. So let's start. So basically, we all are aware of the fact that video conferencing and video calls have been growing exponentially in the past years. And actually, in the graph in the left bottom corner of the slide, you can see how the number of individuals have been rising within the EU, which actually actively used video calls. So I just took the past 5 years and calculated the average growth rate, and it was 12%, which is quite an astonishing number. And furthermore, also researched some very interesting numbers. And this is, for example, that 62 million video conference app downloads happened in March 2020. This is just a humongous number, and it just gives us a grasp how the COVID pandemic actually influenced and triggered this whole industry and this whole market. Another very astonishing number is that Zoom had 55 billion meeting hours in 2020. It's really hard to imagine these numbers, but I calculated a little bit around. And if you, for example, assume that in an average meeting of 4 people and we take the whole population of the US and Europe, it would correspond to 280 hours of meeting per person, which are like 7 total working weeks. And I felt like quite impressed by these numbers, and just gave me a grasp of how important video calls are already right now and how important they are going to become.
Is Zoom the most popular video call technique at the moment?
Yes, so Zoom is currently by now the most popular video app, but maybe some of you also know other meeting platforms, like, for example, Microsoft Teams, which are also rising and getting used more. But the most used one is Zoom right now with this number of meeting hours. And actually, this astonishing rise of video calls is, according to me, not only due to COVID. I mean, COVID triggered this development, but I think it will not go away. So it happened to stay. And this is due to the benefits actually organizations and individuals can get from these video calls. So actually 30% of organizations began using web conferencing the first time due to COVID, but 56% of leading personalities, CFOs worldwide, plan to further invest in this technology because they saw the benefits you get by doing video conferences. And actually, there was a survey from a consulting firm to evaluate the biggest benefits for organizations using video technology. And most of them stated that the reduced travel is actually the biggest benefits, followed by the time savings, reduced costs, and improved collaborations, the increased work-life balance of the employees, and the possibility to record and achieve. So actually the benefit of reduced travel also, in my eyes, is a very broad benefit, which also tackles, of course, cost reduction, and is also like environmentally for the future a very important topic to keep in mind. Okay. let's go on with the presentation. So maybe some of you have already been part of my last presentation, where I've been talking about video conferences and hybrid meetings. And I was also presenting 9 tips for hosting a video conference. And today I just want to go through them again very quickly and actually connect them with today's topic. And this is more the interactive part of video conferences. So first of all, your presentation should have a strong context. I think this is not only applicable for online presentations, that's like a general rule for every presentation you do. And furthermore, your participants should be encouraged to promote your event on the market. If they share, for example, content on social media, it could get way more attention than if you only market your event yourself. Furthermore, if you do an online conference, you have in some way a digital connection because you have sent out the invites and everything. So you also have the possibility to send the people the reminders, and this comes with the possibility to bond your audience or to increase the number of people who are joining. Furthermore, very important for online meetings is everybody knows if we can find the link or the invitation for a specific event. So you're supposed to plan also a strong customer support, meaning just supporting the people in not getting lost with all the technology and making it as easy as possible. And next, keep in mind that you always have the possibility to get sponsors for your event. And you also have the possibility to leverage them as partners. For example, today I'm talking a lot about, for example, Menti and Kahoot. I haven't done it, but if I would have asked them upfront to maybe provide me a pro version for this event, they might have agreed because it would have been a huge benefit for both parties. Yeah. So another very important tip is to prime your presenters. So upfront, maybe do a rehearsal and go through the whole event, because nothing is more embarrassing than actually a presenter who is a little bit lost and not aware about the timetable and everything in the event. And now we are coming to the 3 points which are very important for today and actually tackled by these interactive tools, because your audience can be treated as collaborators, meaning that you can get data from them, that you can run polls, where you can also, like after the event, make maybe very valuable decisions for your next event. Next, it also hosts the possibility of mixing in meaningful discussion, because everybody of us knows these online presentations where just somebody is talking in front of you and nobody else has the possibility to speak up, and at some point you just get tired and fatigue comes over your body. I would say. Okay. The last point is that you should always take advantage of the medium, meaning that it's not necessarily a disadvantage to host such events online. There are huge of possibilities you can get via online conference, meaning not only via online polls, you can also easily show videos and use further media to bond your audience more to your presentation. Okay. So right now I want you to think about what are the most important attributes for you as an attendee of a presentation. And therefore I prepared another little Menti on the next slide. And basically there are 4 criteria I've selected, and you can rank them. So you have to give, for example, the content the first rank, meaning that this is the most important value or most important attribute for you joining a presentation, and just rank first place, second place, and third and fourth. And so we can see what is actually in this little sample the most important or which things value the people the most, or how can you make your presentation the most exciting for this audience? We can see today's topic, interactive presentation, already second. I mean, great content is always important, I think, but on the other hand, I think nobody would necessarily join an event where he is not interested in this content and at all. So I think in many cases, you can already avoid to join a presentation without great content.
Are we still in progress?
Yeah, I think there are still people voting, but right now it looks like that the content is the most important attribute for this audience. Okay, it's still changing a little bit. Passionate host is of course also very important, because if you have somebody talking to you and not being passionate about what he's talking about, you easily lose track, right? Okay, and right after this, there's the interactive presentation. And I mean, if you go to a presentation, you know who is presenting and you know what the content is about, but you don't know how interactive the presentation is. So I think this is really a button you can, or something you can change just while preparing the presentation. So let's jump after this, maybe straight into the first tool you can use to make your presentation more interactive. And this is actually the tool I used right now for all these live polls and for everything which engaged you right now, also like the picture at the beginning. And this is Mentimeter. And the vision of this company is actually to engage your audience more. So they really focused on basically the topic of today's presentation and made it to their company vision. So to start, I just want to give you a raw overview of this company. So Mentimeter is fostering interactive presentation and is a cloud-based platform. So there is no need for you to download any programs or install something on your computer. It's really a very straightforward and easily to use. You can also use it on a MacBook or a Microsoft computer. So there are no constraints in this context. And there's a limit of 2,000 participants, even in the free or standard version. So I think like for most in the events, it's more than enough, but even provide the possibility, for example, if you want to host a huge event, to ask for even more participants. And very interesting is the various type of questions, quiz and content. And I don't even know how to name these functions, but just the various functions you can use or you can do via Mentimeter. So on the most right-hand picture of your presentation, you can basically see a snapshot of what is possible. So you can see, for example, that what I think it is the best for just for questions and live polls, but you also have the possibility to do a quiz or just ask for a typed answer. And furthermore, you can also do content slide. This, I think, a really nice function, because basically you could host your whole presentation just via Mentimeter. So right now I'm using PowerPoint, But I could also like import my PowerPoint slides into Mentimeter and just present it via Mentimeter. And I think that's a really nice function, especially if you have really lots of live polls and lots of function they offer implemented. It's probably more stable on your computer, just present it via Mentimeter and not always use the plugin for PowerPoint. Yeah, I mean, on the left picture, you can see basically how the interface is looking like if you work on Mentimeter, because you just have the slides there and you can visualize graphics and polls just like when you do PowerPoint slides. But at this point, I also want to add that it's a little bit, or that you have like more possibilities on PowerPoint, especially if you do like maybe a little bit more complex tables or designs. It's easier to work on PowerPoint, but I mean, you can also import your slides in the Pro version, just for you to keep that in mind. Yeah, so let's go on with the Mentimeter. So in terms of pricing, right now I'm using the free version, and this means that we have basically one limitation, which can be quite annoying, meaning that you only can put at maximum 2 questions in one presentation and 5 quiz per presentation. Right now in this presentation, I think I have 4 Mentimeters, meaning that I at least had to do 2 different presentations to get all these questions into these slides. And this can be sometimes really a little bit overwhelming if you have like several presentations and you have to figure out which question is in which presentation. So it would be for sure more convenient to just have like several questions in one presentation. And regarding the Pro version, where you don't have all these annoying things, it would cost up to 25 euros per month. So there are really lots of different pricing models with incremental price. So the more functions you want, the more you have to pay. And they also offer like a custom pricing for firms who want really further function, for example, more than 2,000 participants. And yeah, for example, for the version 25 euros, you have unlimited question and quizzes. And a very, very, very nice advantage of the Pro version is that you can export your results as an Excel. Because right now in the free version, you can only pull this PDF results, like you can see in the first picture on the top, meaning that you don't really get data. I mean, you get a raw grasp about how the audience is thinking, but there are no numbers in it, right? And for example, at the bottom picture, you can see just an example report of how it would look like in the Pro version. So just in this case, it was a little poll about a feedback. So there were scales, and you can see immediately how many people gave the guy 4 points, how many gave him 5 points, and you also have the mean and basically everything you need to know to further work with this data and extract maybe decisions out of it. Just thinking about it, it could be, for example, very valuable. For example, if you have several presentations if you have several presenters as a company, and at the end of each presentation you run a quick feedback, you immediately have all the numbers you want to evaluate them and to get an idea how the people like those presentations actually. And yeah, regarding the usability, I mean, as I've already said, there is a PowerPoint plugin, so it's very compatible with PowerPoint. You can also use it with the smartphone. So probably some of you already scanned the QR code on the slides. and then you can simply do the survey via your phone. I think that's really convenient. And another point, which might be sometimes a little bit annoying for the guy who's presenting, is that the results sometimes take some time to have them on the screen. I mean, today it was actually very stable, but for example, if you present at a place where you're not 100% aware about the internet connection, it could become sometimes a little threat to the whole success of this presentation. Okay, so right now I have another Menti for you. And this was just basically the feedback I was talking about. So I just want you maybe to scan the QR code and give me a little feedback, and then we can see how the scale is changing. And if I would have the pro version, I could extract this data right after the meeting and have immediate and very exact feedback from all of you. So feel free to vote. Is it working for you guys?
Yeah, it's a bit slow.
Oh, it's that's the internet, probably the internet issue I was talking about.
Is it working?
No, I don't have results on my screen, so I'm not sure.
No, for me it's not.
Okay, let me maybe check if it's working on my phone if I do it. I mean, I tested it just upfront the meeting and everything was working properly. Okay.
So this is the typical show effect, isn't it?
This is the show effect.
Whenever showtime is, there is not working, but it's because of what? Do you know? Maybe is it the internet connection or is it what is?
It's probably the internet connection. Maybe it's my internet connection. If it's not strong enough, it's not able to get all the data. But I mean, I was able to open it on my phone right now. I just submitted my survey, but yeah, it's just loading.
So what would you recommend in this case? Because you're in the middle of a presentation asking people.
Okay, yeah, that's very embarrassing. I just, at this point, just want you to just test the internet connection up front, but I think all of us know it can happen. Right now, my other family members are coming home. Probably they are watching YouTube videos or something. So it might be a problem with that right now. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. So maybe lucky for me that I don't get feedback. I don't know.
Do you want some feedback in the chat to you?
Yeah, we can do that after the presentation, maybe. And I mean, I have another feedback function we can maybe use. So no worry to, no need to worry about these things, but definitely not the way it should have worked. Anyway, let's go on with the second tool I'm gonna talk about today. And this is Kahoot. So maybe just raise your hand if you have already worked with Kahoot. Just for me to get an idea who knows this tool. Okay, I see Anta. like 3 participants, 4. Okay, seems like 4 people in this chat have already worked with Kahoot before. So, 2 more, 6 people, more famous than expected. Anyway, Kahoot's mission is to make learning more awesome. So already on this statement, we can see that they're more focusing on the learning part than on the gathering data and running polls part. And this is exactly what Kahoot is about. So basically, it's perfect for revising the whole content of your presentation and testing it, and going through it with all the participants maybe once again, and maybe challenge them also a little bit to think about the content. So just like Mentimeter, Kahoot is a cloud-based platform, and the first actually quite big constraint there is that it's only for up to 20 participants. So right now we are 30, that's more than expected. So I fear that if we run a Kahoot right now or right after, not all of us will be able to join. However, in the pro version, you can of course also like buy a package for more people. So if you know upfront that there will be like 200 participants, you can just make sure that all of them can take part in this quiz you're running afterwards. As you can see in the features, it basically offers the same functions as Mentimeter. So we have these several quiz types, then we have the collect opinions functions, and we also have the present info, which is more or less a content slide. But right here we can see that there are way less functions. So for example, collect opinions are only like 3 different ways to do that, compared with Mentimeter, which had like, I think 7 different functions there. So very important there also is that you can see some of these buttons are marked with a little turquoise star, meaning that they are only available for the pro version. So in this context, running a poll would not even be possible in the free version. So if you want to run a poll, you always have to use Mentimeter in terms you don't want to spend money on a specific presentation or event. Anyway, it's featuring various quiz types, and also different ways to collect opinions. On the left picture, you can also see the interface, which is basically just the same as Mentimeter, and also Microsoft PowerPoint. So you just have your slides and you can just select the different quizzes and design them as you want. However, in the basic function, you also have some constraints in terms of design. So you basically have to go with the standard design of the Kahoot slides, which you will see later on. Furthermore, as I already told you, the maximum is 20 players in the free version. And you have this limited function, for example, no polls. In the pro version, you will pay up to 60 euros per month, or up to 750 per event. I was like super shocked when seeing these numbers at first, but at this point I have to mention that they also, or basically they have a very incremental pricing scheme, starting also at, I think the cheapest model is with 4 euros per month, where we already have some extra functions. So it would just would be out of scope if I would go into every pricing model right now. But they also offer the possibility to run a quiz for up to 2,000 players. That is the most expensive, then of course.
So for 4 euros a month, how many players are accepted in this case?
I I think I would have to look it again up at the website of Kahoot, but
more than
probably
20
it's like
in
30.
this case. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Very few.
Maybe.
Very few players you can access. I think 10 more or less.
okay.
Then additionally, because the free version is already with 20 players, so for €4, they accept 10 players.
I think more or less because recently they changed up the plans from what I was looking a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there are like in terms of participants, there are really some constraints from Kahoot, which are quite annoying. But the general rule is the more you pay, the more players you're allowed to let into your quiz. So yeah, let's let it like this. And in terms of usability, you also have a PowerPoint plugin, but only for the paid version again. And it's also smartphone compatible. So if you join a quiz via your smartphone, you can also like vote via your touch screen, but it's a little bit confusing because the question is still on the main screen. So you always have to switch the screens with your eyes, and it's not easy to win the quiz with this setting. However, for the host of the quiz, you can also export results and feedback into Excel. And this is actually something which is really, really nice, because even in the free version, you get a comprehensive report of all the answers of your participants. So if you look at the first picture at the top, I just basically I'm showing that there is a separate menu button for the reporting. Then you have this menu with all the different quizzes you hosted on your Kahoot account in its entire lifetime. And then you can extract a report for every specific quiz. And if you look at the quiz, you have huge amounts of data. So as you can see on the bottom pictures, you have for every question one separate register in Excel, just stamped with numbers and data. So I think this is a really nice tool for, especially for teachers or for people who present in the same audience and want them to progress in the content and learn and to track this progress, and also to get aware of which might be a little bit more difficult to understand, which topics are quite easy understandable. And you can really adjust your presentation based on all this data and all these numbers you can get out of the report. So with this in mind, I prepared a little Kahoot for you guys. So just give me a moment to launch it. Just switch my screen. And open the Kahoot. But if you have any question or something, feel free to ask just in the chat or to speak up. Right now, there would be some time to do that.
Lucas, do you have the pin for the code?
Just give me a moment. Yeah, I have it. I will show it on the screen very quickly. Just a few moments. Still loading. Okay. So I hope you all can see the code right now. You can also just scan the QR code and be quick because we only have 20 slots. So I'm really sad for those who can't play. I really didn't expect 30 people to join this meeting. But anyway, like for those who can't play, you can still see all the questions on the screen and just maybe think about it and be proud of yourself if you get everything right. So we have 11 players right now, 12. 16, 17, 18. 2 more. Okay, I think there's one more place. Okay, now we're 20. So I hope you're all ready. 21, what? Okay, I will start right now. Okay, it's still working with 21. Quite a surprise. So the first question. How are interactive video conference tools leveraging your presentations? So it's a multiple choice question. So there's not only, it could be just one, but maybe it's more. Okay, so I have 15 more seconds to answer. I think 5 people are still missing. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I think 18 people got it right. And Sandeep is leading, followed by Barbara. Okay. So let's drink one sip of water. Get ready for the next question. It's like easy true and false. So it's about the video conference market. I always keep in mind, if the question is easy, it's all about time. Like the quicker you are, the more points you get. So we have 21 answers. And most of them got it right. So this was really a race about who was the fastest to act. And the ranking changed a little bit, but just slightly. The most significant benefit of online conferences from a business perspective. So this is a really difficult one because there's not a lot of time. So be quick. Okay, so 3 got the right answer. The right answer was reduced travel. So this question was basically based on the survey I presented at the beginning, but it was really difficult.
I'm more than disappointed now. Yeah.
And we have a new leader. Okay, are you ready for the next question? It's a quiz again. most popular video platform. Okay, most of you got it right. It is Zoom right now. And no change in the leaderboard.
Who is Smile?
Maybe we can evaluate that later.
Yeah, I guess it's Gabriela. Smile is Gabriela.
Okay. Maximal participants in Mentimeter, not Kahoot.
In the free version or in the yeah, free version, yeah.
There's basically no difference in the free version and in the paid version, and it's 2,000 participants. So only one right answer. Okay, yeah, maybe was a little bit biased by the fact that we talked so much about the 20 participants right now of Kahoot. So, Cecilia, second place. It's gonna be a tight race now for the win. So let me launch the last question. So true and false again. Okay, we have 14 right answers. Okay, and now it's time to reveal the winner. Third place, Raj. Second place, Cecilia. First place, it's Smile. And now I want the boy or the girl.
It's a girl.
Woman or man
It's a
to
girl.
raise its hand. Is it Gabriela?
No. So who is it?
No, it's not me.
Okay. Okay, so the guy wants to stay anonymous.
No, it's me. My name is Romina. Romina, I'm a girl. I'm
Congratulations.
A woman. Thank you.
Amazing.
From Italy.
Romina, come over. I own you a bottle of champagne. You get it in Innsbruck. Just come over. And, yeah.
I will. Thank you very much. And congratulations.
Okay, so Tom will take care of the 3 best placed players next time you visit Innsbruck.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Tom. Yeah, so this was basically the Kahoot quiz. I will just switch my screen really quickly back to the presentation. Meanwhile, if you have any question or anything, maybe Tom, that's a question for you. What do I get for the 3rd place?
No, nothing. It's just nothing.
Okay. I'm sorry.
About that. The same answer for the 2nd place. Nothing.
Wow. Okay. I am a little bit shocked, but yeah, if I am in Innsbruck at this time, I will definitely compensate. And also provide a bottle of champagne for 2nd and 3rd place, because it was really not easy, this quiz. Anyway, we're basically at the end of the presentation, but I still want to maybe start a little discussion. So I want you to tell me which interactive presentation tools do you know? So just scan the QR code or follow the link, which Sean will post into the presentation. and maybe write it into this work cloud, so we can collect maybe some other programs, and maybe learn from each other. Maybe also discuss it a little bit. You can also just give me feedback, how you enjoyed the presentation, and maybe what do you think about Mentimeter and Kahoot. If you think it would be useful for your purpose, whatever, or in which industry you're working in. So I hope it's working.
No,
it's not working.
not at the moment. It's out of. Maybe I can scan it again.
Okay. Otherwise, if it's not working, just write into the chat. Okay. So
what was the question again? Which
interactive tools do you know? I mean, question is the same. Just write it into the chat.
Yeah, but the Mentimeter doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, maybe I can.
Unfortunately.
Maybe I can meanwhile do some investigations on the Mentimeter to make it work again. Let's see if I get a
connection timeout.
Yeah, like as I said, just write it into the chat. This should at least work still.
Besser.
Okay, so sorry, my computer is a little bit overwhelmed right now.
Das macht nichts. Wir gehen einfach zum Ende. Das ist okay.
Yeah. So I think as there are no response, I think you at least got to know two very nice new tools for you to use during presentations and make it more interactive. This was basically my presentation of today. I just want to remind you again about the upcoming events on the 24th of March and 28th of April. So hope to see you there again. Hopefully I will be in the audience. And yeah, thank you again a lot for joining this event, and hope to see you again soon. And if there are any questions, I will stay in the chat for a little bit. So Gabriela, yeah?
Sorry to interrupt. Very quickly, we are going to share in the chat the link to the evaluation for today's workshop.
I shared it already.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you did also. Yeah, okay. So you ask us to fill in this form.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we would appreciate if everybody would fill this to let us know how today was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So some last chance to ask a question or to say something to Lucas.
I mean, I will stay in the meeting for a few more minutes. So,
okay.
If you want to talk privately or more private, you can just stay and ask your question later on. Otherwise, you're free to leave, of course.